Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Real Life Love. Today, I'm really going to take you behind the scenes and show you a day in the life of not just a relationship coach, but of a real life human. I'm going to move this a little bit because there's a lot of glare. There we go. A real life human. And I really want to highlight two things in this video. One is that even as a relationship coach, with all the skills and tools and practices that I have, for which I'm very grateful for because they really do serve me, it doesn't mean that challenges and disappointments and unexpected predicaments don't come up. Of course they do, but that it's really a matter of then being able to use and apply the tools and skills that I've worked to develop that really kind of smooth out the terrain. And the other thing that I really want to kind of point to is that one of the main reasons I was able to move through the situation that I'm going to describe with as much ease and with very relatively short timing. Hi there, I wish I could see who's here. Is because I have worked through what I call, hey Sarah, great to see you here. I have worked through the pain residue. That is all of the storage, all of the things that so many people put in their kind of baggage, you know, their locker, their pain locker. Those are conversations that didn't go well, betrayals, disappointments, mistrust. Every single one of my clients, I'd say, the men, including the men and the women, comes in with some degree of baggage that's like a filter. It's like a prism through which we all begin to see current day through this prism of pain and hurt. And it doesn't make for relationships that are really given an honest chance. So here's what happened. Currently, I'm dating a couple of different men, which is something that I highly recommend to all my clients until you find somebody that you really want to settle in and build something with. And one of them, we've kind of been in like sort of fits and starts, you know, we'll see each other and then he's been traveling and then we won't see each other as much. And we had actually just had a pretty good clearing conversation that went well. So I was feeling better and feeling more interested. I'm still was very much in the what I call the discovery phase with him. You know, just getting to know him, not making any big assumptions either way, just seeing how it is that he actually shows up in different contexts and also how I feel being around him, because both of those are really equally important. So we had a date to get together yesterday and go to an outdoor concert in San Francisco that I was really looking forward to. It was with Janelle Monáe. Those of you who know her, she's great. And it was perfect weather day. It was going to be like a really, you know, beautiful kind of picnic outside. I was definitely looking forward to it. So the plan is he was going to show up at my house at 10 o'clock and then we'd be going from there. So it's starting to be 10:30 and he's not here and I'm not getting a text or a phone call, and that's a little bit out of character with him. He had done something like that once before, but we sort of arrived that there was some confusion around timing and logistics. So I texted him, you know, like, what's up, what's going on? Didn't hear back. I knew for sure that this had been confirmed because he had texted me the day before saying, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. So there was no confusion around timing in this case. At around 11 o'clock, when I still hadn't heard anything and he hadn't responded to my text, I texted him and I said, I think I'm going to make other plans because I'm not hearing from you. And as we were kind of starting to be into like an hour late and no news and no word, I was starting to realize, wow, I don't think he's going to show up, and there doesn't seem to be any good explanation or even any communication about it. And first what I noticed is I kind of started going into like shock because it was sort of unbelievable to me. Okay, no problem, Sarah. It was sort of like unbelievable to me that this would actually happen. In the back of my mind, I was like, well, maybe something happened to him, but I don't really think that's the case. So I was noticing that there was a lot of kind of sensory experience happening for me. Like shock feels a particular way. And fortunately, I know what that feels like, so I could recognize it. And I knew that underneath the shock, there were feelings like disappointment, and I was kind of pissed and I was upset. But I really wanted to be present to all of that rather than just kind of gloss it over. So as it started to occur to me that my day was probably going to unfold quite differently than I had anticipated, here's what I did. First of all, I just gave myself room to feel the feelings. I was disappointed. I was upset. I was really looking forward to that day. I don't like people flaking out on me. That just doesn't feel good. So I was also kind of irritated and annoyed and pissed. And then I reached out for some support because I didn't want to sort of just like wallow in that place. And I called a friend who I knew would give me a good perspective. And she said, maybe something happened, but mostly she was like, well, how do you want to spend your day today? Like, what do you want to choose now? And I ended up just having a really great day. I had more downtime. I did reach out to a friend because I knew that I wanted to move my body. And I wanted to be out in the sun. It was a gorgeous day. And what I was noticing as the day was going on was that rather than put most of my attention on what an asshole he was and how upset I was that this had happened and how it was just like da 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 da, I just kept letting everything move through my body. If a feeling came up, I was present with it. If an emotion came up or a mood came up, I was present with it. And what I noticed is that relatively quickly, like within, a few hours, it had pretty much digested. And I had realized that, unless this guy is in a hospital or something very major or dramatic happened that would preclude him from sending me a text or a phone call, like there would be no more dating. Like we were definitely done because this is way outside of what I find acceptable behavior. And as of now, actually, I haven't heard from him. So he's either in a hospital or he's way flakier than I thought he was. Hey, Bear. So what I noticed is that one of the reasons that it was easy to kind of keep motoring and to not let that, fairly discouraging and disappointing event really bring me down is for two reasons. One, I was really present with the feelings as they were occurring. But equally, if not more important, is that I don't have this big pile, this big stockpile of instances that I kind of keep in my file of all the times that a man did fill in the blank, something that makes him untrustworthy, or me mistrustful of men, or where I've kind of got this story with all of this evidence about why men are the way they are and how it's not good. And I'm pointed to this because I cannot tell you how prevalent this is, and it used to be very, very present for me. This experience reminded me of an event that happened. It was probably close to 20 years ago. I was young. I was like 20 something, and I had kind of just started dating. And I remember that I had made a date with a man who I had this total crush on. And I remember it was a long time ago because I remember we were talking on a landline, if you can remember those things. And we talked on the phone, and he said, yeah, I'll be there at like 7:30. And then he never showed up, and he never got in contact with me. And like I can remember that feeling of just being kind of blown away that somebody would say to my face, I'll be there at 7:30, and then not show up and not be in touch with me at all. And that actually was one of the memories that I really had to work through in my own healing, because it left a big imprint. It had a big effect. It was one of the first times I was starting to date. I was shocked and startled and disappointed. And I knew in going back to that if that stayed living inside of me, it would be all too easy to pull up that feeling the next time there was a hint of disappointment or discouragement, or a man behaved in a way that was different than what I was anticipating. The reason that this is so important is that the more stockpiling we have, the more we start to see through that prism, and the more that begins to inform how we see what a man is doing or what a man isn't doing. And it's like, do you want to see through the prism of love and possibility, giving a man the benefit of the doubt, or do you want to see through the prism of how they're untrustworthy and going to disappoint you and going to betray you? So, just to close the loop, I ended up actually having a really great day. I took a walk with the girlfriend. It was a beautiful day. I had a nice dinner. And I just felt like, okay, I'm going to take this information and let it mean what it is appropriate to mean, which is that this is not the kind of person I want to continue to spend time with. But I felt like I really cared for myself and I attended to myself. And it was really apparent to me that I was able to move through it, relatively quickly, even though it was a pretty big upset, because I didn't have this whole mountain of other stuff that was alive and kind of ready to come up and be disturbing. So, what I want to say to you is I just want to ask you a question about what prism are you looking through? Whether you're dating, whether you're in relationship, whether you're single, how are you fundamentally seeing men? Are you seeing them as creatures who have a lot of potential to hurt you and disappoint you and upset you and leave you more mistrustful of them? Or do you see them from the perspective of they're fundamentally good people, they're on your side, they want to look after you and love you and be kind to you? If it's the former, I just want to remind you that that's having a really big impact on your dating and your relationship life. Because when we see through the prism of fear, we generally create more fear and we create more evidence to reinforce that fear. So this was such an important piece of work that I do with my clients that I actually created. It's called a Love Breakthrough Intensive, and it's really specifically devoted to working out the memories. It's like an excavation process, basically. And because I work in a very somatic way through the body, you will be amazed at how simple it is to move this stuff through, and also what happens, how different you feel when you're not carrying around these piles of baggage of muck that keep telling you about, how somebody's going to disappoint you. So because I was reminded in my own experience of how important this work is, I really want to make this available to any of you who it might be a fit for. And if you book this with me through the end of this week, I'm going to offer $100 off. It's normally $595. It will be $495. It's 3 hours to work together. And we will be just really moving through the places where you have decided things about men that are not contributing to you having the kind of love, dating, sex, relationship life that makes you really happy. So I know you know how to reach out to me. And feel free in the comments to just kind of leave me a note about whether you're running from fear or from love, and how you know and how it's impacting your relationships. Feel free if you want to share a personal story. I'd love to hear that. And I'll talk with you again soon. Bye for now.